Implementation overview. How we set up the evaluation. The first thing we ask you to do is identify two similar ability Year 4 or Year 5 classes. You then complete the pre-test with both classes for the spelling, and then enter the data into the What Worked Teachers platform. It will then randomly allocate one class to the intervention, one to the comparison. The intervention will use the strategy for the duration of the trial. The comparison will continue as business as normal. And then both groups will complete the same post-assessment test at the end of the trial. Once the data is entered into the What Worked Teachers platform, it will then generate an impact report. If this is positive, you can then open this up to the comparison class. So let's take a look at the planning from a step-by-step approach. Step 1. Identify two similar ability classes to participate in the evaluation from the same year group. Step 2. Identify 60 challenging words from the National Curriculum Guidance. These will be introduced by 15 new spellings over 4 weeks. Select 20 words to use as a pre- and post-assessment task. Step 3. Complete the pre-assessment spelling test with both classes. Record the marks in the Excel tracker and then input this into the pre-test on the trial wizard. As you're using class data, we do advise one teacher reads out the scores while the other inputs. It does make this process a little bit easier. Next, for step 4, using the trial wizard on What Worked Teachers platform, randomly assign classes to the intervention and the comparison group. Step 5, the intervention class will deliver the targeted intervention. This variation of the child introduces learners to 15 spellings over the week with a review on the next Monday. Rather than all the words being introduced on a Monday, what happens is these are incrementally introduced over the week. The comparison group will continue with just business as usual for the duration of the trial. Step 6. Complete the post-assessment spelling test, which is the same as the pre, to both the intervention and comparison groups. Record the marks in the Excel tracker located in the resource folder and input this into the post-test on the trial wizard. So the intervention is targeted for Year 4 or Year 5 pupils. It's delivered by a teacher, can be set as homework. Each session will be daily and introduce words incrementally with review on the following Monday. And then 15 new words will be learned per week with a consolidation in week 5. Look, say, cover, write, check is a method of learning spelling where children study your word, say the word aloud clearly, pay attention to the spelling, cover it up with a piece of paper or their hand, write the spelling next to the original word, check their version to see if they got it right, write the correct spelling again if necessary. And this version of the strategy emphasizes reading and saying the word aloud to help connect the written and spoken word. How to select the spellings. The DfE Primary National Curriculum includes guidance on the expected spellings. Please use this to create a list of 60 words that you will select for the intervention, with 20 of these being used for the pre and post. Each week, the learners will practice 15 new spellings using the spelling strategy. In the resource folder, you will find a template to use if you want to, and you'll also find a tracking spreadsheet that allows you to link anonymized student IDs to learners in each class, and then all we ask you to do is to record which is the intervention and which is the control class. Key considerations. Logistical issues need to be considered before using a targeted spelling strategy as an intervention. Is there a suitable time in the school day for the delivery? If it's used for homework, will reminders be set? Resources, if you're using the templates, can you print them off in advance? And will you link this to any rewards in your school? So logistical barriers are common in any intervention delivered in schools, so it's just important to consider these prior to starting. Moving on to the assessment, the outcome measure is attainment as defined by the pre and post spelling test. The assessment is marked out of 20 and is the same for both the pre and the post assessment. As both the comparison and the intervention groups receive the same assessment, familiarity should not bias the effect. An assessment guidance, complete this under test conditions, allow approximately 10 to 15 minutes, provide an example of a word in a sentence for each spelling, and then record the pre and post assessment scores on your tracking spreadsheet and on the platform. So that is the end of the implementation guidance. The next thing to do is to download and read the research protocol, the resource folder, and then start your trial on the Trial Wizard.